It's Gizmo. It's fucking Gizmo, bro.
Gizmo.
It's Gizmo.
That one masterpiece replica from Metacom. Yeah, it's incredible. Wow. And Riley, that once again shows how young you are for not knowing what Gremlins and Gizmo is.
I didn't either, Kiko. Remember? Remember when I reacted to your collection?
It is a Christmas movie, so around Christmas, everyone, make sure to get Gremlins out, and we will watch. And there's actually, I think there was like an Amazon exclusive cartoon coming out about like the rise of the Mogwai or something like that, and everyone's going to get hype about that because Gizmo is going to be front and central. And I think I sent it to you, Riley, and I was like, "Hey, Steve,
I think
there
I
you
saw
go."
it.
But so I think a lot of people are going to say why they still have it in their collection is because you can't sell them. That's the thing, is that there's no point because it's going to cost more to ship it than what it's actually worth. So I'm going to do, I always do both, you know, Star Wars and Marvel. I just feel like that's the way I need to do. This may be surprising, but the figure I don't like, and I think the worst figure in my collection, drumroll from Star Wars, is not the Incinerator Trooper, but instead Jango Fett. Ooh. I don't like him. I think he almost looks too, I don't know. He just doesn't have the shelf presence I was hoping for. There's just something about him. Maybe it's because he's sitting next to that piece of shit Grievous, as well as like Dooku. So you're sitting between two really powerful figures. But I don't know. There's just something about it to where I didn't like it. I understand he's screen accurate and all that, but I think he was so anticipated and so hyped. And then once I got him, I'm like, this doesn't feel like this iconic character that I want to have. And so that's the one on the Star Wars side. And then the one on the other side that I can't get rid of on the Marvel thing, I actually just did a TikTok and reel about this, Barber Stan Lee, because you can't get rid of it.
Bro, dude, that fucking TikTok was hilarious, bro.
Because here's the thing. The original Stan Lee, because I have all the Stan Lees, but the original Stan Lee, the one that comes with the chair and like the pencil and the really cool like Art Deco comic looking box, that was the one everyone wanted. Everyone's like, I wish I had a Stan Lee, but I'm not paying $700. That's what it was going for at the time.
Right.
Then they're like, okay, we're going to do a re-release, or not a re-release. We're going to do a new version, and they did the Guardians version of him in the spacesuit. Cool. That was really, really neat. And I'm like, okay, I don't have the original Stan Lee at that time. This is the Stan Lee I'm getting. I'm not going to miss it. So I went and got the Stan Lee and the spacesuit from Guardians. Really, really cool figure. I love that shelf present. Comes with a really cool rock that he sits on, the really yellow jumpsuit. It's really, really cool. So then they did it again, like literally 6 months later. And they're like, here's a special exclusive. Here comes Stanny Boy. And I'm like, oh shit. I know how revered these Stan Lees are. I'm not going to miss this one either. And I remember I went to the Totally Rad Toy House here in Nashville because they had gotten one in because it was a retail exclusive at the time. And I was like, oh, sweet. Let me go get this. And they're like, hey, you know, if you post, I'll give you some 30% off. You use your points and 10% post us on Instagram. I'm like, okay, cool. And so I got a steal. So I thought on this Barber Stan Lee, and he looks cool. He's fun. I love the fact of, you know, that's the thing about Stan Lee is that he is so iconic in the Marvel universe, the godfather, the creator of the films, kind of having his little moment in the films. That's cool. And being able to recreate some of those moments, great. But damn, they made way too many of these. Too many people either didn't care or something, but this did not hit. And it's weird because he looks weird standing next to Thor. He looks weird standing next to Loki and Hela. They're like, where do you put him? I understand, like, yeah, he's from Ragnarok, but it's just so odd. The space one from Guardians, you know, he's in a spacesuit, you know, so you can put him next to Groot and Rocket, and it looks kind of cool. But this is almost a little too jarring, and I can't get rid of this thing. Of all the figures I have, I'll never get rid of him and I paid literally just a hair more than just a hair less than retail for this originally because I was like, ooh, baby, I'm not missing out on Stan again. So that's definitely going to be it.
No fucking dude. This thing, man, nowadays you could probably sell. I not even shitting you. Probably like
he was at
$80.
He was at a half price books for $25. You know what half price books is?
No, what's that?
Half price books, like you go and like you know, like McKay's or
Is that
anyway, you
like a
take it,
Salvation Army or something?
kind of, you take like a you take your books and CDs and all that stuff and you just sell them there or whatever, and they give you like 10% of what it's worth essentially, and then they just sell them. You can sell like figures and it's like a, not a consignment shop, but either way, it's half price books. You go and buy stuff there, but they sometimes have figures and stereos and things like that. Yeah, homie put this on Reddit. They're like, hey, found a great hot toy deal at half price books, $25 for this piece.
Bro, I've never heard of a $25 hot toy. That's
$25. I'd probably buy it for $25, dude.
Same.
I'd be like, yeah, I would just sell it. Sell it to them for 80. Yeah, exactly. But so Riley, what figure do you have in your collection do you think is probably the worst one? Why do you still have that figure in your collection?
It's an interesting question. Surprisingly, it's actually going to be a Spider-Man figure, and it is the original TASM 2 Spider-Man figure. I have that figure, not the new one, not the new updated one, which I'm still a little bummed about because of it's not too updated. I don't know. We'll get into that. But the OG TASM 2 Spider-Man is, I don't blame them because it's obviously a really old figure. It's probably like, I'd imagine 10 years old by now or something like that. It's a really tough figure. The proportions just look very weird. The hands are the worst, probably one of the worst ideas they've ever done. They had magnetic like fingertips, so you'd have to exchange them, and it wouldn't look seamless at all. It looked really bad, and I have them, and they always fall off. It's really bad. So I hate that. The legs, like where the red forms on his leg to his boot, like those would just like fall off. Like you could just literally take them off. It's really weird. I don't get it, man. But yeah, it's not a great figure at this time and age. I'm still have it because obviously I love the TASM 2 movie, the originals, and I love No Way Home. So having him in the collection just worked there. That said, I'm definitely going to get the update. I know I had my thoughts before where I was like, maybe I'll just keep my OG, but at the end of the day, nah, I need the update. And another thing that's really bad is on all the TASM 2 figures, his mask, on the top of his mask, it would always, it would discolor. It would turn gray. Like, yeah, dude, there's a lot of QC issues with this figure. So that's why it is the worst figure on my shelf. It has a lot of QC problems. I mean, it still looks cool. I have him fighting Venom right over here, but it's going to be one where I definitely need the update. I was thinking of keeping it and just forgetting about the update because I still am a little bummed with the update. I feel like the eye color is not accurate. Right here, it actually, his eyes look white, which is accurate to the movie, but when it released, it's like gray. They kind of grayed it down a bit, which isn't accurate to the movie, which is really weird. So I don't really get that. But nonetheless, yeah, this is definitely the worst one on my shelf. Definitely.
Dude, Riley, and I'm guessing you're replacing this one with the new one, right?
Yeah, gonna get the new one with the lizard base. I gotta have it for sure.
Dude, No Way Home is this film, Kiko. So
yes, sir,
yeah,
the cotton candy.
Gotta have it, guys. I gotta surprise you with one of mine. I was just looking back at it, and I was like, what's the worst one up there? I feel like I've curated pretty well at this point, but if I had to pick the worst one, I'm gonna surprise some people with this. It's probably this one. You know why? Because the reason I still have this figure is because it's Rey, and I love Rey. I'm a big fan of the sequels. I love Kylo. I love Rey. I need a Rey. I had the Force Awakens Rey. That was probably my worst. That was probably my worst figure because it was so dated. Like it just looked very dated. Like the rest of the figure was great, but the head sculpt just looks like a very old figure, right? The rest of the figure, great. Just that this Rey head sculpt, definitely the better of the two, which is why I decided to keep this one. But this head sculpt still is not quite Daisy Ridley. Like it's good, it's solid. But I've even had some people walk in and be like, "Oh, that one doesn't really look like Daisy Ridley." And I was like, "Yeah, I do agree. Like I think generally it's pretty good. It's the best one that exists of her, but." Right. Hot Toys is still not quite nailed her likeness yet. So I have this one still because I love Rey and I need a Rey, but I don't feel like this figure is top shelf, like I don't think it's absolutely amazing, but it is Rey. So it comes down to character versus quality. As long as the quality is still pretty good, most collectors will still get it. But if it's the best one available and they love the character, they'll make the sacrifice. But yeah, I don't know. I would say this is probably the worst for me.
That's an interesting one.
Still a great figure though. Still a great figure.
I was gonna say, what if they did an artisan Rey Skywalker?
Dude, I would probably get that. I would probably be down. I'd probably be down for that.
Another one would be cool is a Kylo Ren, dude. A rooted
hair.
Kylo
Ren's easy. Cool. Yeah, Kylo Ren's easy. I would be like, yeah, I'm in 100%, bro. Like, and I think they could have. One thing they could have done too. They didn't paint his helmet chrome for whatever fucking reason, so it should be chrome. So they could easily do a Kylo, make it paint it chrome, maybe make the helmet, I don't know, die cast and something on the face plates. Like, you could give Kylo a rooted head sculpt. I would be all in on that, but I don't know if he's that popular of a character that they would actually do that, but yeah, but Rey for me. Guys, let us know in the comments below what you're thinking. What's your worst figure in your collection? Why do you still have that thing?